Hello, Tech Pros, episode 178.
I would say think before you speak. Is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it inspirational? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to introduce our featured guest today, Kevin Jean-Charles. What are we doing? Happy Saturday, happy Tuesday, happy Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Kevin.
Happy Wednesday.
Dude, I literally, I do the 7 day a week podcast. And some days I don't know what day I'm in because between you and me and like the hundreds of people that are listening in, it'll just be our little secret. But I record all throughout the week. And usually I'm doing recordings of episodes like a Productivity Tuesday on a Saturday, or I'm editing a show that's going to go out tomorrow on Tech Thursday, but I recorded it on a Monday, right? And so my understanding of what day of the week it is actually completely jacked up. The funny thing is that Kevin's probably laughing at me right now is that it is literally Wednesday. This is Leadership Wednesday, and I can't just completely blanked out on what day it is. And this is like a 1 in 7 chance that I actually get it right and actually recording an episode on the day that we're actually producing it. So, happy Wednesday, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing real well. You see it all lined up. We attracted each other right on the Wednesday and it lined right in so you can know your calendar date now, right?
Well, supposedly, but sometimes my brain is not engaged with the actual calendar. So, you know what? No big deal. We'll just get through it. So today is Leadership Wednesday, and Kevin Jean-Charles is the founder of Transparency Financial Technology Corp, which owns and operates Finslide brand, a personal cash flow technology that services families and individuals. So Kevin, that sounds like a pretty amazing little process you've got there. So tell us maybe a little bit about the company and what you guys do before we move into the leadership topic today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We specialize in just short-term cash flow situation. And I say that to say, what's literally coming in and then going out. And, I fully believe and I'm a proponent of going week to week and understanding and flipping it on the other side of the coin where, week to week could be a bad situation. But necessarily if you're proactive and you're looking and understanding and willing to do your budgeting, then good things will continue to happen,
Yeah, for me personally, honestly, in the past, a decade or so ago, it was a huge problem of, making good money, being employed, having revenue, having income come in, but just understanding my expenses, understanding my budget, understanding where my money was going, and not really tracking things to the way that I should. Really cost me a lot in my personal life. We lost a lot of money and just like wastefulness and and also lost a couple of opportunities for new stuff because I wasn't on top of it. So that was a huge lesson for me, 10, 12 years ago. But I know there's a lot of folks that are in various states of cash flow opportunities or cash flow problems or cash flow maintenance and operations. So it'll be cool to have this discussion and see what you guys are doing on the technology side to help out this issue.
Yeah, one of the things, a lot of this stuff is, the technology's out there, but a lot of this stuff is so, I would say, about the experience of what that person's going through. And because I've seen a lot of the ups and the downs being an entrepreneur, being out there, it was kind of refreshing for me to just design it in a format to let people just keep looking forward. So one of the main things that we do that's a huge differentiator is we heavily focus on the forecasting part of it. So that a person, if they are going to do a look back, it's just a brief look back, but they're not looking back so long that you just start getting real frustrated and have lots of anxiety and then not want to do the process at all. So, I'm a believer in benchmarking. So I came up with benchmark your life for on the individual side, and on the other side, uh, we do that kind of benchmarking even for on the cash flow side for cash flow reporting for nonprofits that we're looking to gear up with, and also for B Corps, social enterprise corps, which we are as well.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome approach of just life and goals in general, right? Whether you're trying to save money, whether you're trying to lose weight, sometimes we beat ourselves up by looking at our past and saying, "Oh my gosh, last week I ate 2 cupcakes." Right. I did not go for any runs at all. I am worthless. I feel like a slob. I'm doing horrible. Or, okay, my budget was supposed to be XYZ, but I had an impulse moment and I bought a new technology device, a new gadget. And then we went out to eat 3 times. And then, gosh, I'm just horrible. But instead of focusing on that stuff, just use that past as kind of a baseline and then really forecast going forward and say, okay, what is tomorrow going to look like? What is next month going to look like? And what can we do in the future to be more proactive and get better in these situations?
Yeah, and I'm totally excited about it because I feel like we're literally changing the course of history when you could have a lot of people just getting on a technology and letting the tool, the why is important, the how to is important, but now we're really putting the how to on steroids when you necessarily have that mobile technology and and it's easy for everything.
That's awesome. Well, today is Leadership Wednesday, so we'll probably get back to this. But first, I want to take a moment and recognize that, you know what, we're all human. We've all been in these situations where we're trying to do the right thing in life and business, but we're working for a horrible boss. Now, I don't want you to name names, Kevin. I don't want you to throw people under the bus because we're not about that here. But if you could tell us a personal story of your most horrible boss moment, then maybe we can take a step back and learn from that situation and discover, what are some great leadership styles that we can implement in our business and in our lives going forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I think about that, I kind of go back to the days where I did bartending at a 5-star restaurant up in Long Island. I'm not going to name too much, like you said. And
Yep.
I had one manager just always on me, always just like not focused on the actual productivity and what I was doing in servicing clients, but necessarily focused on what extra tasks that needed to be done. And necessarily, yes, we have to get tasks done, but servicing the client is utmost important because that's how and upselling, that's what builds the brand, So, I totally remember him being on top of me. I never had enough drinks. Sometimes he's overstocking, things like that.
Hmm. So how did the situation make you feel? So you're trying to do a great job. You're trying to really impress the clients that are there. You're trying to be a great, service provider to these clients and just make their experience amazing so that they'll want to come back, right? They'll want to tip high and they'll want to come back and just be enamored with this brand. But this boss at this time that was really on you about the stock and the what you have and what you don't have and all this kind of stuff. What did that do to you as an employee?
Well, what it does too is look on the service and the client perspective as well. It makes you look like you don't really know what you're doing when you've been there and you've been doing it very well, and the clients like you. But necessarily, you're trying to make a name for yourself. So, for instance, when he would be in back of me when I'm serving the drink, sometimes just looking and waiting. That's not a good thing to do. Clients want people like, oh, this bartender is owning the bar and shows ownership of that. And that's another thing that I like to key in on. And I love to work with ex-entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs for the fact that there's certain skill sets that they already have that's in them, regardless of the results that they had in what they were doing. And also the fact of stewardship delegation, a huge believer in stewardship delegation.
Yeah, I completely resonate with you on that. Man, on that frustration with a person who's just kind of hovering around. I've heard it recently. My wife and I were talking about helicopter moms, and is she a helicopter mom, right? Because in these certain situations where you want to be there because you care, you want to be there in case the kid falls or in case the kid gets in trouble, or to make sure you're on top of their performance and their their behaviors and whatnot, but also you just got to let kids be kids sometimes, and you got to let them do their thing. The same thing, you don't want to be a helicopter boss, right? You don't want to be hovering literally right behind your employee and looking over their shoulder and watching what they're doing, right? Not all the time. That might be appropriate in a training situation. You don't want to be this helicopter boss in the situation where you're literally standing behind your employees, like looking over their shoulder, watching what they're doing. I mean, that might be appropriate in a training situation where you've got someone extremely green, extremely new, and who are learning the ropes, and you're providing that mentor and support. But when they're, like you said, they own the bar, when they own the situation, when they're competent and they're doing a great job, you want to get out of their area, right? You want to get out of their cubicle, you want to get out of their bar and just let them do their thing and let them own the task and own the responsibility. So this helicopter boss or this person who's right behind you can be a huge just pain in the neck.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I think that's whew. And anyway, it stifles, from a larger standpoint, it stifles the generations ahead, and it makes us, I think we're all on the course for interdependence.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. So the generations that are coming up, right? Us as leaders, we now have the responsibility to take care of the employees, to take care of the business, to take care of the corporations, to take care of the future generations and what's going to happen to them. So as you look at this experience in the past and you think about the lessons learned that you can apply in our leadership styles going forward, what's the biggest takeaways?
Yes, really, I would say momentum. You really have to watch momentum. You can't always count the hours as much as count the moments, count the conversations, and be more intentional about your conversation. I believe in the power of a moment, the power of a conversation, where literally, if you think about it, your life can change after one conversation. And I say that to say, from an aspiring standpoint, that's how fast things can happen, no matter what the effects you see around you. So, I would definitely say, take it short term, take it week by week, like just go through your day, make that day a masterpiece, and then let it build on top of the next one and build on top of the next one. And that's what this new digital age is about. The ones that are doing that, they're doing very well, and they're being very relaxed about it. And it's a transition period because there's so much change going on. You have to be comfortable with that, and you have to sit in it. But no, do what you could do in a day. Don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I love that. There's so much going on in life. There's so much going on in business. There's so much transition that's happening in the world today that, a lot of stuff, 99.99, I don't know how many nines, percent of the things in our life is outside of our control. So we got to focus on the things that we can control and make the most out of those moments. I love what you said about, don't count the hours, but count the moments and the conversations, the things that really, really matter, because your life can literally change in one moment, in one conversation. So we talked about a horrible boss. Maybe we could flip it around. Do you have a story about one of these situations that really changed your life or changed your outlook on work? Based off of a conversation with a mentor or a boss?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. So one thing I would say is my experience down in Atlanta, just seeing how well Bishop Bronner ran that church. And he's coming from a lineage, his father started with $25 and turned the Bronner hair care brand into a multi-million-dollar brand with contracts with Walmart and things like that. So he took that and went to nonprofit work. And, obviously not doing it for the money, but just doing it for the effectiveness and teaching entrepreneurship in that. So and grew up like over 25,000 person church down there in the Austell area. Another recent person is a newer board member to the Center of Social Innovation, which we're housed out, we're a member of, is Malik Yoba. That guy's just been, he shared with me some great contact, and he's been accelerating my life in a very unique way. And, I'm just happy to be around great eagles right now and great people trying to do great things for the community. And, it's about legacy of people that have done have gone through difficult challenges and making the road much easier ahead for that. So those are the two people I would say that have, that effective leadership, you know, really, I just saw really effective, great leadership work out of them. So we have a entrepreneurship meets financial technology package that I like to that makes me think about that too. To give back in that way as well.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What is this package that you guys work on, and how does it work?
Yeah, and relevance is the key. We always hear the fact of, what's going on with the school systems and things like that. And I don't want to get involved in any of the politics of that, but I do know that let's just all stay on the theme of relevance within there and do whatever it takes to make it a lot more relevant to the kids. And that's what we're doing with our programming. And, I know, and I see it continue to work, because now for the first time I'm satisfied with saying, hey, now you can walk around with this mobile. And these are the first, and these are things that we have to continue to recognize in regards to perception. So it's not just, yes, there's Facebook here, yes, there's a lot of other social networks and things that are distracting us. There's Pokemon, there's a lot of things going on, but there's also a lot of powerful, apps out there to make your life so much easier and let you make more quality decisions.
Yeah, I think the toolboxes that we have available to us today is just completely different than the toolbox that was available to us maybe 20 years ago when I first started getting involved in business, or take it 20 years before that, right? When my parents were working and just getting started in business, the types of problems that individuals that we face, some of it, right, cash flow problems, relationship problems, all these kind of things are the same things, but the approach to solving them is completely different because of the types of tools that are available to us as consumers, and also to businesses, the types of tools that are available to business to get through these problems. And like you said, in school situations, man, it's compounded in so many different ways because of just this, so many things in society have changed from we're a society that sits down and watches TV together after work, after school, to now everybody's distracted with their little glowing devices and they're all logged on and they're all having these social interactions, right? But they're not necessarily with people right here in the room. So it's got to be a tough situation. So how do you go about addressing some of those problems and solving some of those problems?
Well, and that's kind of why I I love being a public benefit corporation. B Corp started, they're fairly new, 4 years ago, but they're recognized with the state. And you're a for-profit company, but you have social intentions that are geared into all your paperwork. And so it's not just about necessarily pledging 5% of your profits anymore. It's about building it into your programming, into your corporate citizenship program. So, I say that to say all of this in regards to how does it all correlate and come together. Then the youth have to really start gearing in on their purpose, because what's going to motivate them and get them to necessarily focus on more productive things is when it's all tied in with relevance and it's tied into their purpose, and they really directly know the impact that they're making with that particular activity. And so it's very important in regards to that. So with being a public benefit corporation, it allows the fact of, we're putting the heart of what it takes and the cause element into it, but we also are, making sure that we're doing the right things to keep effectiveness for what's going on. So, we work with a lot of nonprofits. We have a package as well that necessarily helps them, understand and provide cash flow reporting better that we're gearing in on right now. So that's on the website as well, because I feel like when there's more transparency in that world, now the giving and the funding is going to start going up. So we could imagine a funder getting a mobile device and seeing this cash flows and seeing what's going on. A lot of these board members, they have fiduciary risk at hand of what they're doing. They need to know what's going on from a cash flow perspective. A lot of these financials are a bit archaic, but we're not replacing a CPA, not replacing the financial advisor, anything, but necessarily working and taking more pressure off that person, so they could focus on compliance.
Gotcha. So Are we talking about helping the individuals, like the individual person who needs help with their financial situations? Or are you talking about the software in this process really helps organizations who help people in these situations?
Yeah, we have 4 packages, one for individuals and one for corporations and organizations. So, cash flow is needed on both sides, and a lot of times they complement each other in different ways, particularly when it's the same client. So, it's all part of the process of just more transparency, more clarity on all the different levels. You'll have a better employee if if they're looking at it and forecasting and budgeting from a week to week and a bi-weekly basis. Another thing too is if you don't want to do week to week, it's fine. You could do month to month. The way the system works is discretionary for that.
Gotcha. Kevin, in just a moment, I want to ask you about this notion of giving the product away for free and then charging for the service afterwards, because that sounds a lot like some of the stuff that in my background that's called like open source, right? Open source code. You give the code away for free and then you charge for that. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about that, how that applies in other businesses. But first, let's take a quick break and thank our sponsors. Chad Bostic here, and I've got a very special announcement concerning next week. Next week is going to kick off my very first Signature Series week. That is one full week dedicated to a single course, a single topic, and that topic next week is career development, specifically my Career Hyperdrive course, how to get unstuck in your career and launch your career back into hyperspace. Now, we're going to have 7 full days of content, and what you're going to get out of it is motivation that you need to overcome your biggest career obstacles, productivity tips to help you crush it at work without killing your personal life, leadership training that will build your respect and influence across the organization without needing to move into the management tracks, a technology mastery blueprint that's going to guide you through the process of selecting the right technology for the right problem every time, social engineering hacks to break into the elite inner circles and get a seat at the adult table, entrepreneurship tactics that will raise your value and salary within your organization and increase your reputation and negotiation power to the marketplace, and the peace of mind to unplug from the job without anxiety or guilt. Now, if this sounds good to you, you do not want to miss any of the episodes next week. And you're going to want to sign up for the course, the online course, because you're going to get access to all of the takeaways and all of the homework sessions. There will be homework. You have to do the homework in order to get unstuck. You can't succeed just by listening. So go to hellotechpros.com/career to sign up for the free course and get access to all the content. Again, that's hellotechpros.com/career. Okay, we're back with Kevin Jean-Charles. We've been talking to Kevin about as the founder of Transparency Financial Technology Corp., which owns and operates the Finslide brand, personal cash flow technology that services families and individuals. We've been talking to Kevin about this idea of transparency, why transparency is so important, and why we need these technology, these solutions in order to really understand and take charge of the cash flow problems and opportunities that families and individuals have, and all the different types of packages that his organization has. Along the way, Kevin, you talked about how you give the information away for free. You give everything away for free. And again, it's kind of opening up that, increasing that transparency just within your own brand and say, here's all the information. Like, here it is. And if you can understand it and you can use it and you can optimize it, then awesome. You are golden, and just go rock it out. But if you need some help, then that's what we charge, is for the actual support for the individuals who need kind of that extra hand holding. So in my background, so I come from a software development background, we call that open source, right? When you generate source code, when you generate code programs, and you make it available for free to the community. And so there are community versions of things that are absolutely free, but then some corporations, right, big corporations that say, we want to use this technology, but we can't just maintain it all ourselves. We want to pay for support and have somebody support that technology. So there's a lot of companies like Red Hat, when you think of like Red Hat Linux and some of the other technologies that they have. That's the same model that they provide. So I just want to talk to you and get your thoughts on how this model works in industry and in entrepreneurship, where you're giving away your product for free, but then you're providing an upcharge for the support.
Yeah, Chad, it's about reaching the people where they're at in order to get to, where they need to go. And, why not? That's the great thing about the digital age. We could adapt the best models to the equation. So that's one of the better models out there to get a lot of people going, particularly as it comes to their finances right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so much, like back in the day, right? There was so much information that was potentially available if you wanted to go like through the libraries and check out books for free from the library, or go through the microfiche films, right, and try to really, really study. But that cost of investment to try to figure things out on your own for free was extremely high, like extremely high amount of cost, meaning your time and effort to get into it. Otherwise, you had to pay big money to get these package deals where you got the information to learn how to, take care of your finances, or learn how to, solve some problem in your life. But now there's so much information that's available on the internet. I love it when folks like yourself are packaging it together and saying, here's the answer, here's the solution, here's all the information that you need, and it's free. Here it is. Now, if you need help with that, if you want like accountability, if you want a partner to help guide you through it, if you want a mentor to help you along the way, then we are here, and that's where we make our money.
Be a part of our member events. You want to meet a great group of people that are thinking that same way, that want to influence the city and really change the world and make an impact. I think that there's a lot of good that we're continuing to do. I'm very just thankful. It's been a process. 16-year entrepreneur, but now taking it out, I feel so on purpose with this venture.
That's awesome. Well, Kevin, before we leave today, do you mind sharing any parting words of wisdom that you have for our audience, the best way that we can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye?
Oh yeah, definitely. Twitter at Finslide Kevin. At Finslide Kevin is my Twitter handle, and also at Finsliding on the company side. You can email me at kjc@finslide.com, kjc@finslide.com, and I will get back to you shortly. I'm trying to be respectful of my emails, and also the Twitter now. We're just getting on it now. But I had a great time. Thanks for hearing what we do, and thanks for doing all your great work as well, Chad.
Cool. Thank you, Kevin. Do you have any final words of wisdom for our audience?
Yeah, I would say think before you speak. Is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it inspirational? Is it necessary? And is it kind? If it's not any of those, you got to think about it. Right now, we're getting in that paradigm. You don't have to be an abusive boss anymore. You don't have to be an abusive person. But necessarily, you can just get the right information and apply these tools and use what's been working for people on a general level, but be very specific and provide a unique tool that helps other people out as well. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, and just also, take it hour by hour. Those are some of my parting words. Think before you speak.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for joining me on Hello Tech Pros today. I really value this conversation. I value the fact that you're a dad working through this entrepreneurship the same way that I'm a dad working for my entrepreneurship stuff. I really relate to you on that level, and I appreciate the help that you're giving to the community about helping with your finances, because we need it, brother. We all need it.
I mean, this thing was totally out of necessity to just help people and to necessarily lift up everybody's situation so that we can just imagine the world just talking about solutions and building together and collaborating. That's how you change the world, when you can imagine it. And every day that we do this, I'm imagining a better place, and I feel like we're changing the course of history.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Tech Pros, if you are in the situation where a horrible boss that is this helicopter boss, right? They're constantly fluttering around you. They're constantly getting up in your grill, and you just nitpicking everything, or wanting to micromanage everything. You just need to have a conversation with them and say, look, I understand that you're worried about the process, that you're worried about the customer care, but I can't provide my highest level of output with you constantly here, right? So can we arrange something else where I can have these areas where I'm not so good at and I need some help and I need you actively helping me, and these other areas I can just take ownership of and run and be a great leader, right? And that way we can all be better leaders at work, at life, in our families, in our entrepreneurship activities. We just need to give people that autonomy, give people that empowerment, give people that trust that everything's going to be okay, right? That we believe in them and that they're going to do a good job, but we're here for them if they need us. You've been listening to Kevin John Charles, and I'm Chad Bostic. And until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/178. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Leadership Wednesday, but tomorrow, my featured guest and I talk about technology. On Friday, people in communication. Saturday, entrepreneurship. Sunday, being unplugged. And then next week, we kick it off with Motivation Monday, followed by Tuesday, productivity. And then we're back again on Wednesday to discuss leadership. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.